What's good with it? We back at it. You already know what time it is. You see the title. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. A lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get to it. But before I talk about Ryan Garcia, we're going to talk about the other Garcia, Hector Garcia. The fight coming up in the interim before the big showdown next year between King Ryan and Tank Davis. So you see here, fights coming up pretty soon. We're almost to Christmas. Big fights coming up on January 7th. Before I go into it, subscribe, like, all that shit. But yeah, January 7th, big fights here. Showtime pay-per-view. And actually, this is an interesting card. I want to get into a couple of things here. Because you're obviously going to have Tank Davis fighting Garcia, who's coming up in weight to fight Tank. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I will be making a video breaking down each fighter, giving my 2 cents and all that stuff like I usually do. But you look here on the co-main event, you're going to have Jaron Boots Ennis. Big, got power in both hands, explosive dude. And he's taking on the IBF number 4 rated welterweight. Not going to even try to pronounce his name, but they're fighting for the interim IBF welterweight title. And this is pretty big because we don't know what's going on with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, if they're going to fight or when they're going to fight, if ever. Spence got into the car accident. If I'm not mistaken, Spence has the IBF title, and he just got into the car accident, so you don't know what he's thinking moving forward, right? Let's go ahead and look at these rankings real quick so I can confirm it. Yeah, Errol Spence has all the titles except for the WBL. So you don't know who he's going to fight next, if he's going to fight anybody of substance, if he's going to take time off. So this is a big fight here. Jaron's finally getting his chance. Great fighter. And I'm looking forward to that fight. And then the other person on there that I want to see is Bout, Demetrius Andrade. He's going for a 10-round fight at super middleweight against Damon Nicholson. He's not fighting who I want to see him fight. I want to see, you're at super middleweight, you're at 168, so it's just like, yo, man, you can't get your hands on a Benavidez or a Charlo. It's like, at a certain point, you have to look at yourself, the people you're working with. Why are you not able to come to terms? Now, I think that, I don't know if it was him or Charlo that were going to make $250,000. I forgot the amount that he was being offered. He balked at it. But it's like, dude, at a certain point, I understand this is boxing, right? But you got to get that win under your belt. Then you can get more of the big money fights. But if you never get that big money fight against a Charlo, the money's not coming anyway, man. Like, you got to spend money to make money. That's the only way I can kind of put it. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. But you're going to have to step up the competition, even if it involves you conceding on the financial side a little bit. But yeah, Tank Davis, the fight coming up, and he's getting ready for the fight and whatnot. But what's really striking me as odd is that Ryan Garcia is foregoing his fight against, I don't remember the guy's name at this point, but he's foregoing that fight, and Oscar De La Hoya is saying, I don't know if that's such a good idea. He's just focusing on Tank Davis, but the last time you fought was, in June or July against Fortuna? I mean, very, very good fight. Very, very solid win over a very game opponent, but you're going to have a long layoff coming into this fight. Coming up on 10 to 12 months against a guy that's going to be coming off of a fight if he gets past Hector Garcia, which I think should be a tough fight. I would not advise it, but that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. And Tank Davis, he's going ahead and he's getting to work in right now. And there was an interview recently, and they were asking him, what he wants to do. And he's talking about he wants to have 3 fights in 2023. So the first one being Hector Garcia. If he gets through that fight, then it's going to be Ryan Garcia. And if he wins that fight, then they were throwing out some names of people that were talking about him. And the reporter mentioned, they were mentioning Stevenson and Haney. And when he mentioned that, it said Davis, he said, got it. And then they asked him how they ranked all 3 of those guys, Garcia, Haney, and Stevenson. And he said, they cool, that's it. I don't rank anybody. So, I look forward to seeing a busy 2023 for Tank. I've had my criticisms of him before. However, I look at a lot of the things he's done this past year, especially breaking away from Mayweather Promotions and doing his own thing and really trying to get the names. Like, he's going after legacy at this point. It's really, really good to see. It's a fun time in boxing as opposed to what we're seeing with Crawford and Spence. I'm going to make another video about the Adavazian fight and the whole controversy concerning the gloves with that one. But it's just like, man, like, we want to see Spence and Crawford fighting. We're not here to see you fight Adavazian, man. Like, he's a solid, gritty dude, but like, it's not the fight we're looking for, right? You're not getting any younger. So, you know, we'll see. I look forward to Tank Davis having a very tough fight against a very, very good opponent in Hector Garcia, who I think is going to pose some problems boxing wise. But we'll have to see if if he has enough power coming up in weight from 130 against the Tank Davis, right? So all that to say, we're getting to coming back to Ryan Garcia and him skipping the fight. And Gervonta's been chirping a little bit over the past month, and he's been throwing out accusations of PEDs and wondering if he's on the juice and whatnot. And after he canceled this fight against his opponent he was supposed to be fighting, he popped up with it again, right? So earlier he said, no funny stuff. Well, to the photo of Garcia sitting next to Tim, don't know how to pronounce his name. If I find out he's cheating, it's going to be a problem. And it's going to be more than boxing problems on my mama. Then when a Twitter user chimed in and asked him to elaborate, he said the following: he never looked that big before. He's definitely on something. Shit, the zone already proved they don't give a bleep about testing. And that's very interesting, right? And I point that out because here's what I would say. You're the A side in the negotiations, I would suppose. I wonder who their testing agency is going to be. Because I've made videos about this going back to the Floyd Mayweather scandal with Pacquiao and the Canelo clenbuterol scandal when he was supposed to be fighting, I think, for Triple G the first time, right? So I'm very well aware of these testing agencies. And my question is, if these are serious accusations, to be throwing these out willy-nilly in the same way that Mayweather did against Pacquiao, one, where's your proof? And two, if you had proof of cheating before, why wouldn't you why wouldn't you lobby to get VADA, Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency? That's the agency that catches everybody in boxing. USADA, they're like, yo, the check clear, cool, bam. You could piss cocaine, heroin, every other opiate known to man, and they'll pass you. Allegedly, right? So I don't get sued. But VADA, oh yeah, they be popping people left and right. So why not ask for VADA? And that's what Ryan Garcia said in the interview. So Ryan Garcia on December 3rd, he responded to what he said in that photo he was referring to. And also Davis's claim that Garcia's team turned down early VADA testing for their planned April 2023 fight. And he said, spooked. I don't even take supplements. The contract, it should be noted, is a done deal with April 15 as the planned date. He said also they never asked to do an early VADA testing. I'd be willing to do whatever testing someone wants to do. I've already accepted everything you wanted. Why wouldn't I accept that? Now this is December 4th. You are December, January, February, March, April. You are 4 months out from a fight. If he's allegedly, supposedly agreeing to VADA testing, if that's what you demanded, right? Especially if you're throwing out those allegations, why not start VADA testing now? Hell, you could start it for your Hector Garcia fight, Tank. Not saying that he's on anything, but I will say this much. It's usually the loudest person in the room that you have to watch out for when it comes to what they're doing behind closed doors. There's nothing to suggest that Tank has taken any PED in the past. But it's like, why bring this up without any evidence or saying, boom, let's do VADA testing? Are you trying to make an excuse to get out of the fight, or do you don't want to fight, or like, are you just a little bit of gamesmanship? Like, what is it? I don't really see the point in that. I think it's very disingenuous to do. I don't like that personally. If you don't have solid evidence, or if you don't want to go and get the evidence, a la do VADA testing, why are you talking about it? It doesn't really make any sense to me. It's unprofessional in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about that, but to me that's unprofessional. You're throwing stuff, hoping it sticks to the wall without any credible sources of information. I mean, you have a plant in his camp that's telling you that he's putting supplements in his water. Has he had any failed drug tests that haven't been released from USADA or VADA? Like, what is your proof? It's very, very unprofessional. So, in my way I see it right now, the trash talking, cool. But when it comes to crossing the lines like that, focus on what you're doing and stop worrying about Ryan Garcia. Okay? And if you're really that concerned, push for VADA testing. Problem solved. Not a problem. So let me know what you guys think about that. That's all I had on that. I will be making a video coming up on Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, but more so Tank Davis and Hector Garcia as we approach the new year and we get closer to fight week. Let me know what you guys think here, and what's your thoughts on this? Do you think it's hearsay? Do you think there's something to it? Are you for Tank? Are you sick and tired of accusations? What say you? Leave it in the comments below. Till next time.